is going on, guys? Matt Downs with Daily Grind Fantasy Sports here to give you the edge for this 120 NBA slate on Draftkings. Cannot wait to break it down. We go back down to a 3-gamer from a 13-game NBA slate. I wish we had two back-to-back, like 5 to 7 game slates. Those are always the fun ones to play, but nonetheless, we have a good bit of injury news, I do believe. Right now, we really don't know what's going on with Sabonis. He played last night, and coach did say that he had a significant ankle injury. I think it was a sprain, so we really don't know what's going on. But right now, we're pending that injury news along with Brogdon. So this is going to be an interesting slate, and that game does also come from the 10 o'clock game. Also, be sure to hit that like button, guys. I would appreciate it if you hit the like button because it helps us with the YouTube algorithm. Whenever you hit that like button, you comment on our video. It gets us to the top of the search results and obviously expands the brand. So if you guys want to help in that, feel free to do so. But without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right into this NBA slate. Also, I'll be giving away my free prize pick entries on another video. So I posted a video yesterday, received a ton of good feedback. We actually hit 4 of 5 picks. Over on that video, I gave you some brief analysis, and I gave you my top 5 favorite picks on prize picks. So 4 of those 5 hit. Jaren Jackson just was non-existent yesterday in a good spot, so that's always fun. But other than him, we had some really good picks. But let's go ahead and dive right into this NBA slate here on DraftKings. This will be pretty quick and straightforward because, again, like I said, we have some pretty straightforward injury news. But as of right now here, with the New Orleans Pelicans, we are not pending any injury news. Let's go over their overall plays. So if we go from the top down here, in terms of just overall value, there's actually some decent value here. Herb Jones projected to start and play 33 minutes. Also at a 4.4K price tag. Definitely don't mind him for value. All these guys will be relatively low owned because there is a straight path to victory when it comes to the slate. Devontae Graham, also not that bad of a GPP play here. 5.1K price tag. This is also the lowest over-under here on the slate, and they're not favored. They are underdogs by 3 points here. So these guys will all carry very low ownership, but the minute upside is going to be here for Herb Jones, Devontae Graham. I know they're not the best fantasy point per minute-wise, but again, you have to consider that they are in the starting rotation. They're in the starting lineup. Devontae Graham is questionable as of right now, so as long as he does play, then yeah, he's a decent GPP option. But if he is ruled out, that gives bumps to guys like Josh Hart. Alexander Walker should also get a bump in terms of minutes, probably about the mid-20s. And then also Valanciunas, you just look up and down this roster, and all these guys got a price decrease. So if this game is competitive, if it does hit that over-under of right now projected at 210, then these guys are all going to do pretty well, at least at their price tag. So I do have a lot of interest in GPPs. Also, Brandon Ingram at 8K, I feel like that's also underpriced. We know he can historically pay off that price tag pretty easily as long as he gets it going. But right now, just GPP options here across the board for the New Orleans Pelicans. I would be targeting them in GPPs, especially the guys with high minute upside here in this lineup. And we're also pending that injury news on Devontae Graham. Switching over to the Knicks. The Knicks, not as much interest all the way around. We also have to see what's going on with Kemba Walker. He was randomly inserted into the starting lineup, but we didn't expect that, and Alec Burks took a back seat. So if that's going to be a thing going forward, he played 30 minutes last game. Again, we expect him to play, when he does start, 34-ish, 35-ish minutes, because historically that's what he has been playing, even 40 minutes a game. So if he's only going to be playing 30 minutes at a 6.1K price tag, I really don't have any interest in these guys. Alec Burks is also still priced down to 6.2K. If he's not going to start, definitely don't have any interest there. RJ Barrett, as long as he plays minutes, is probably the only guy I have any true interest here in. Right now, last game he shot 6 of 16, so that obviously didn't look well from a DFS perspective, but he's going to play tremendous amount of minutes. As long as he does, then I do have interest in him in GPPs. Probably the only guy that I really would consider here from this roster. I guess I can throw out Taj Gibson at 3.3K, but we know historically fantasy point per minute wise, that's not the most appealing either. 0.68 fantasy point per minute player here on the season. Switching over to the Phoenix Suns, I actually do have a ton of interest in these guys. We are without Ayton, Kaminsky, Nather, and Saric. So a lot of center minutes to go around. JaVale McGee did start last game and obviously didn't live up to the expectation that we're used to seeing from JaVale McGee. But nonetheless, I'm going to go back to the well here. Fantasy point per minute wise, averaging 1.24 fantasy points per minute with these guys off the court. A 4K price tag projected for 24 minutes here. And he's also in a decent matchup here versus Maxi Kleber, who's expected to play the center spot. So definitely don't mind him. He's going to be the best overall value play here on the slate. He'll also be very chalky, so keep that in mind. If you're looking to differentiate yourself, then don't play JaVale McGee and hope he drops 18 points again. But he's going to be a chalky play. I'm going to probably be playing him at least in cash and smaller GPPs. Jay Crowder, also not that bad of a value play here. With these guys out of the lineup, he's averaging 0.92 fantasy points per minute, a 4.4K price tag. As long as he's starting, which right now he is expected to start, and playing, 27 to 30 minutes, and yeah, I think he's a viable last piece. And with all these centers out, you got to think that he's going to step into a thinner rotation here, especially down low, playing the power forward position. So Jay Crowder, a little bit of interest, but I do have a lot more interest here in Devin Booker. The upside's going to be here. The price tag came down here. $8,300, went out and dropped 71 points and then got a price decrease. That doesn't make sense from an algorithm perspective. He also had a 46% usage rate. Loved him last game. And I love him again this slate. He is playing in the worst matchup here versus Dallas. I don't expect him to go out and drop 71 points, but he could be one of the higher scoring players here on the slate. And he does average 1.32 fantasy points per minute and a 32% usage rate here without DeAndre Ayton on the court. So Devin Booker, was thinking about making him the thumbnail because I think he's that obvious of a play here. To get the price decrease, I also think he will carry some ownership. Some other noteworthy candidates here. We have Cameron Payne at $4,200. Don't love the minute upside with him, but he is, a very streaky shooter. So when he does get going, he looks very good from a DFS perspective at low ownership. And then also Chris Paul did get the price decrease. It's usually Chris Paul or Devin Booker. He actually did hit value last game as well, and he also got a price decrease. So that's another noteworthy thing. I do like his price tag as well, but I do prefer Devin Booker. I love them both in terms of their upside, their overall upside here without DeAndre Ayton on the court. Switching over to the Dallas Mavericks, not too much interest overall. To get a price decrease here, and Luka Doncic is probably the only real good pay-up option here on the slate. We will get to the Indiana Pacers here, and I'll be explaining why there's not a good pay-up option there. But Luka Doncic at 10.4K, probably the only guy I would consider. DFS is always in play because you never know what to expect with him. He played 35 minutes last game and barely hit value, but just GPP options nonetheless. I don't think these guys will carry any ownership. Depending on how the value plays out, that will really determine on what Luka's ownership is going to be. Like if there's an extreme value, extremely good value in the last game, then Luka Doncic's ownership is going to go up due to roster construction, with him being the only pay-up option on the slate. Last but not least, we have the Indiana Pacers, and we have to address the elephant in the room. What is going on with Sabonis? Because Sabonis right now is projected 17 minutes on Fantasy Cruncher. I think because they don't know what's going on either. Coach came out and said he's dealing with an ankle sprain. He played the entire game last night and said it's pretty significant. So I don't know what that means. And he's also technically in trade talks. So why would you go out and play your superstar if he's going to be in trade talks and you're trying to rebuild? I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Sabonis. They're only projected to score 103 points. This is an 11-point spread, so you got to think that Sabonis is probably not going to play here. We're going to assume that Sabonis is not going to play. And if he's not going to play, then Brissett's going to get extended run. We're going to be projecting him around 27 to 28-ish minutes. Goga should start and play. For the first time this season, whenever that happens, he always crushes value. And then that will take up your other center options. So we're looking at Goga at center, Joval at center, two very chalky, cheap options at the center position, which is why I think Luka Doncic's ownership is going to go up a little bit. But Goga, $3,700, should be playing around 23-ish minutes whenever he starts. And again, without Sabonis or Miles Turner in the lineup, I think Brissett and Goga are going to get some extended run here. So those two are going to be pretty much locks, in my opinion, if Sabonis is out. And $3,900 and $3,700, very, very cheap, and could easily hit their price points. Duarte also becomes intriguing. $4,300. You take all that usage off the court. Also has that high minute upside. He should be around 30 to 32-ish minutes without Sabonis in the lineup. And then Karis LeVert. Karis LeVert's in an extreme smash spot. He's going to be the only guy that really can score on this roster, who's known for scoring. And also Brogdon. I didn't even mention Brogdon. Like if he's going to be rolled out, then yeah, Karis LeVert's going to be mega chalk as well at $7,900, which isn't even technically a pay-up option. But he's going to be my favorite overall play on the slate if those guys are rolled out. Again, we are pending a lot of injury news here, but expected to see a lot of these guys out for the Indiana Pacers. And then Torrey Craig, if he starts, also has a minute upside, going to be playing around 28 to 30 minutes at $3,800. He's not the best historically fantasy point per minute wise, but I do expect him to also carry some ownership. Justin Holiday is going to be probably carrying lower ownership because of his price point. $4,900 doesn't look intriguing on the surface, but we're going to expect a lot of volume from him. With the uptick in the usage. And Justin Holiday could honestly break the slate because he's known to do that with the volume. It's just so hit or miss in terms of his fantasy production because of his volume shooting and the amount that he misses the mark more often than not. But one last guy I want to talk about, Jeremy Lamb. We don't really know how many minutes he's going to get, but we can expect he's going to be getting closer to about 20 minutes, so I don't mind the extended run off the bench. if he does get an uptick in minutes there versus the Golden State Warriors. And again, this game does have blowout potential, so you can easily go to guys like Lance Stevenson, Jeremy Lamb, and maybe like Isaiah Jackson here, projected right now at 12 minutes. So all those guys are definitely in play, especially since this does have blowout potential. That being said, let's switch over to the Golden State Warriors themselves. And we also do have some more value to look at. Kuminga, because Otto Porter is out for these guys. Draymond Green's also out. Same thing with Wiseman. So Kuminga expected to start yet again. He did play 30 minutes, I believe. No, 25. He played 33 the game before that, but he didn't start. He came off the bench. And played some extended run in the blowout. So we expect about 25 to 30-ish minutes here from Kuminga. I do like him. He's a very good fantasy point per minute player when he does start and play, averaging 1.01 fantasy points per minute. So he's going to be my favorite overall play here from the Golden State Warriors. And then Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson has just been shooting, and he's been shooting a lot when the minutes are given to him. So the last 3 games have been 22, 23, and 21, so we can expect exactly that. We have him projected for 24 minutes. And again, this does have blowout potential, so I do hesitate towards the upside with some of these starting players like Klay Thompson, Kevon Looney, and also Steph Curry. We have to talk about Steph Curry at the 10.5K price tag. He could be a great pivot off of Luka Doncic. Again, if this game does stay competitive somehow, then Steph Curry always has that ceiling potential. We know he's so hit or miss, but he has been the greatest, and that's because he's been involved in blowouts as of late. So if you think this game is going to be blowout again, then I probably would not play Steph Curry. So direction on the slate is to favor the Indiana Pacers. Joe Val's going to be mega chalk, and same thing with Kuminga. And then you plug and play the stud plays up top, and I think that's going to be an obvious path to victory. Obviously, we're still pending that injury news there with Sabonis and Brogdon, which will impact the slate. If they are ruled out throughout the day, I will pin a post in the YouTube comment section below. Hopefully, we do get that news before lock, which we should. This slate does lock at 7:30, and I will be going live before lock to break down any slate breaking injury news that we do get throughout the day. And I do believe TJ will be able to show up to this live stream here because he does get off around 6. We will be going live around 6:15, 6:30-ish. And that will wrap up my breakdown, guys. Hopefully you did enjoy the breakdown. If you did, please do hit that subscription button, notification bell, and of course, smash that like button for all of our future NBA content. With all that being said, have a great rest of your day, and let's cash.